Good afternoon and welcome back to this special live production coming to you from the Karas Regional Council. It's a pleasure to be in your company as we give you the latest election coverage from here. I am Janet Asis and we are proudly sponsored by Stadefoods Namibia as well as Fernmart Keetmanshoop. Now joining me in the studio we have a first-time voter, that's Queen Peter. She's 19 years old and she'll be sharing with us what changes she would like to see. But before we get into the discussion, let's take a look at voter reaction in Keetmanshoop.
I'm just here to exercise my democratic right. I want to see a lot of changes because there are a lot of things that needs to come, like housing, etc., and for people to have jobs and such.
I always thought that I won't have to rely on a political party or on the government because I tried to study to make a success of my life. But now I see that politics is the one that rules. It is the one that rules our country. So I feel that voting is the first step to show that I also have a say, just to have my voice heard. They should retire and let us, the young ones, lead our country.
I want to see a lot of development in Keetmanshoop.
Ik wil net die land moet opgroeien. Dat is wat ik zoek naar. Kijk, ik had hier klachten met die andere dingen ook, maar ik is op trots op die dingen ene wat ik voor gaat stemmen. Zo ik zal blijven als ons net opgehaald wordt voor die hele wereld. Dat ons net kan leven zoals die andere mensen leven.
Ja, ik voel lekker, ik was blij dat ik klaar was met. Ik wil net die voortgang van die land zien. Dat is al wat ik wil zien. Een vorige leven, mooi leven, ik wil een mooi leven. Beter leven als die leven wat ik heb. Maar ik is oud, ik is vrede met alles.
Nadat ik gestemd ben, ik is blij. Ik is ook dankbaar om vanmorgen hier te zijn, om te stemmen. Vandaar wil ik wil ook laat ik ook deel van die partijen of hoe kan ik zeggen, deel van die stembus.
Well, it is voting day indeed. Some views there from residents in Keetmanshoop. We now cross over to NBC reporter Natangwe Jimmy, who will give us an overview of the situation in Karasburg. Let's take a look.
Karasburg East and West inhabitants turned up in their numbers to take part in the regional council and local authority elections. Polling stations at Karasburg as well as Ocean Gear in the Karasburg West constituency opened on time, with no major hiccups reported. Despite flocking to polling stations in the early hours of this morning, many voters we spoke to were happy to have the opportunity to exercise their democratic right. About 12,000 eligible voters are registered in the Karasburg East and West constituencies. Political party agents we spoke to expressed their happiness with the ongoing election process. Despite today being declared a public holiday to allow eligible voters to cast their votes, some voters at Osinkia Farm in the Karasburg East constituency are not happy as they were required to work today. There were, however, no major problems reported and people were generally satisfied with the use of the ballot papers. The ECN also ensured that voters kept their social distancing and those entering were sanitized and their temperatures were taken. Polling stations will be open until 9 this evening.
Well, we're definitely seeing an increase of young people voting for the first time this electoral process. And joining me in the studio, we have Queen Peter. She's a 19-year-old first-time voter who's about to actually vote for the elections for the first time. Very good afternoon to you, Queen.
Good afternoon to you.
So, Queen, before we get into the discussion, tell us more about yourself.
I am Queen Peter, a Bachelor's of Communication student at the Namibian University of Science and Technology. I'm a driven individual with a purpose far greater than myself. My most powerful trait would be my voice, because I believe it is something that cannot be taken away from me, and I deem it necessary to speak up and to speak out.
No, I love that. I love that you're using your voice to really get the masses known. Now, why have you decided to vote?
Apart from it being my democratic right and it being a fundamental right, I believe that it is my opportunity to create a future that is in alignment with my fundamental beliefs, and I get to choose a leader who I believe has the interest of development and the interest of the people at heart.
We've obviously been speaking to a lot of young people around issues that young people are facing, unemployment, housing, just some of the issues that they're facing. What would you say from your experience are some of the issues that young people are facing?
Well, this is a song that we've been singing over the years, but it is sadly our reality. This is our sad reality, that we are faced with unemployment and with COVID-19 that came and had a economic dip effect on the world's economy and the economy of Namibia. I believe that unemployment has just increased. There's an increment in unemployment, and we are faced more with unemployment. And not given the opportunity to utilize the resources at our disposal.
No, definitely. Now, we're definitely seeing a lot of new independent candidates, a lot of new political parties that are on the campaign trail, making a lot of promises, actually. What changes would you like to see?
What we need to understand is that certain things and certain developments require more than political rhetoric. Seeing that there would be different candidates from different parties serving on the local authority, I would like to see a more bipartisan effort in improving and enhancing the economy. I would also like to see a more dialectical approach to issues that we are faced with.
All right, Queen, we'll continue in a moment. Now, our news crew definitely took a look around the Basapa and Karasburg region to just see what's happening at the polling stations. Let's take a look.
It's my first time voting, and I came here 7:30. Ever since 7:30 I'm here. I'm still waiting in the queue. I'm excited, at the same time I'm down as well, because I'm in the queue a long time. So I'm just waiting patiently.
Ik heb 10 uur gekomen. Nog steeds gaan ons aan met die lines, queue-lines. Zo is het voor ons een beetje treurig. Ik verstaan niet wat is het probleem misschien niet, maar ons gaan aan. Ons gaan aan. Ons willen vote. Dat is het beste punt. Als niks nog anders te doen.
I will say the process is not little but slow. You know, I came here 7 o'clock, and that time ECN was announcing in the radios and in the news, and there are things that everything is ready. When he came here 7 o'clock, I don't know what was wrong. Even the people didn't start voting, and I don't know what machine is it, because the EVMs is out. Kama machine has been broken, and so on. And you see, from 7 o'clock until now, past 1, I'm still here, standing here. Maybe around 3, I will finish. That time, I will maybe fall around here of hungriness.
It's my first time voting, but this process is very slow. I would like the ECN to make more polling stations in the future because it's very slow and it's very hot here.
Dit is my eerste keer om te vote. Ek het vanoggend 10 uur gekom. Van dit af, dit was daar 'n bietjie skerpie en ek het daar gesit. Maar van daai af sit ek in die son en okay wel, ek was baie gebrand. En ek word baie gebrand. En intussen is dit ook die lyne wat 'n bietjie probleem is aangesien.
Well, it is a voting day indeed. We have about 108,000 registered voters for the Karas and Hardap region combined, and as many Namibians go to the polling stations to vote for the regional and local authority elections. And it's really encouraging to see a lot of young people that are making the time to vote. Now, we continue with our discussion here with Queen Peter. Now, obviously, we're looking at that insert where it's really encouraging to see a lot of young people waiting in the queues. I mean, there's a lot of long queues, and also in the heat, you know, especially in the southern region where it is pretty hot. Why would you say it's actually important for young people to vote?
I would say it's important and of paramount importance for young people to vote because I believe that democracy cannot and does not work without citizen participation. I also believe that young people can stay engaged in politics and current events. It also gives you the right to complain and to criticize because when you vote, you have the right to complain and criticize. But if you do not vote, you cannot complain and criticize because you did not help in ushering a better government.
We find a lot of young people, or even not even just young people, actually just in general, where they say, you know, why should I even vote? We're not going to see any change happening. What's the point of even voting? What do you have to say about that?
Well, young people also say that they are not interested, they don't have a keen interest in politics. But I would like to remind them that you don't have to have an interest in politics for politics to have an interest in you. Regardless of you having an interest in politics or not, politics will have an effect on your life. So I believe that your vote, that one vote, would make a difference.
Now, what should really, you know, we're seeing a lot of, you know, independent candidates, political parties on the campaign trail, you know, and you find that there are some young people just in general, sort of getting caught up in the hype of the campaign trails and the discussions. What should young people really consider when they are casting their votes?
I believe that they should not go with popularity, and with this election, we should vote for a more credible and competent candidate, notwithstanding the party that person is affiliated with. Your alliance and your loyalty can be with your party, but if you know that the candidate from the opposition party is someone who is credible, is someone who would bring about change and development in the constituency, that I believe that you should go vote for that party, for that candidate, and not for the party they are affiliated with. Or your prime focus should not be the party they are affiliated with, but rather with the candidate and the credibility and the competence of the candidate.
I like that word, credibility and competent candidate. That's really the focus, isn't it?
Yes, that is the focus.
Well, our news crew did take a look around the Karas region, just at the polling stations. Let's take a look at what's happening in and around there. welcome back. Now we are giving you the latest election coverage here from Keetmanshoop, and we continue with our discussion here with a first-time voter. She's actually still going to cast her vote. Now, Queen, talk to us. You're very passionate about politics. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
I always considered myself as I'm going to be the first female president, and that is on life. I see myself transforming lives and planting seeds in people's lives. I might not be there to sit under the shade of the tree that I'm going to plant, but I know the seed will remember me. I'm not going to be the voice for the voiceless, but I would rather create platforms for people to use their own voices and to tell their own stories.
Now, obviously, as young people go out and vote in their numbers, what advice do you have for the electorates?
I would advise young people to remain in the queues. I would advise them to stay and to actually vote, because the power lies with them. It is their right and it is their responsibility, and also the opportunity to choose and to vote and to elect someone into leadership and into a decision-making body, someone that would make decisions on their behalf.
Well, Peter, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It is a special live production here from Karas Regional Council, where we give you the latest election coverage from Keetmanshoop. We are concluding, and we will see you later on. Bye-bye, Namibia.
Thank you.